Welcome to Tea Time. I am Denise. I want to thank you for joining me for yet another Tea Time with Denise. I am so very happy to have my dear friend Persephone here with me today. Hi, Persephone.
Hi.
Who are you? First, who are you?
I'm Persephone. I am a piercer here in Evansville, Indiana. I co-own Fox and Crow Body Modifications with my husband Scotty and my friend Jared. And I'm stoked to be here. I've been doing that for 15 years, and Denise has known me that entire time. She was there at the beginning of my career. So it's awesome to see you doing this, and I'm glad to be here.
And she was here. Her and her husband actually was here during the conception of Pink Elephant. Just at 12 years ago, he actually made the elephant that's on the outside, and Persephone made the Rosie. So if all of you people who said how much you love the Rosie sign, this is the artist.
Yeah, it's really cool to see it after all these years.
Yes, I love it. So what drives you?
I've been thinking a lot about this when you told me that this was one of the questions that I was going to be given. I think that now in my life, what drives me the most is thinking about how my daughter is going to perceive me both now and as she grows up, because one day she's going to be a grown woman and she's going to look at me as an example of, like, hopefully how to be, like, intelligent and kind and brave. I also think a lot about myself as a kid when I was younger. I was a really idealistic kid, and so I had really high standards and hopes for myself when I got older, and I sometimes think about her, that younger version of me, and wanting to make that version of myself proud with the choices that I make. I use that a lot as motivation to try to keep myself moving forward. I feel like I want to be present in the here and now, but I'm always mindful of the fact that I'm also trying to be better than the person I was yesterday, and hopefully, tomorrow better still.
Yes.
In all the ways that I can be.
That is a great philosophy. That's wonderful. You always have the best stuff to say.
I thought about it a lot. I think that that's a really important question. It's something that we should ask ourselves. Everybody should ask themselves all the time. Is like, what is motivating you?
Yes.
Because there are all kinds of motivations that a person can have. And I'm the same way. Sometimes my motivations get a little out of line, and I'm thinking about, like, what do these other people think of me? Or, did this post that I made make enough likes, or, that sort of thing, or, like, I want this thing and it's expensive, and, I'm bummed that I can't buy it just straight away or whatever, and it's not a huge deal to think about those things sometimes, but I do think, for myself at least, that it's important to keep perspective that those aren't really the important things.
Right.
So I try to give myself very limited space to concentrate on superficial stuff.
To have the world get in the way of who you are.
Right.
Yes.
At the end of the day, when you're lying in bed, not sleeping like I do, so if I feel like I've done my best with whatever I'm mulling over, if I've done my best, if I've really given it my best effort, and I can look at it, and even if I'm thinking now, like, maybe I could have done that better, I'm at least holding on to that moving forward, and not necessarily concentrating on it and just swirling the drain.
Staying at the bottom.
Just stewing. I don't want to be stewing. I don't feel like that really benefits me. I don't think that really moves me forward in my personal life and my career. Being a mom, being a partner, being a friend. Being a piercer, none of that stuff is beneficial. So I try to... There's a time and place. You got to let yourself feel all of your emotions and everything.
Right.
But I don't want to put undue time and energy into stuff that's not serving me. So.
Yes. A lot of people need to learn to walk away from the things that don't serve them anymore. You'd grow a lot faster.
Yeah. It's a hard lesson. It's one that you got to practice that, because it doesn't just stick, like, you're going to come up against it over and over again, and you got to, like, snap back to that and remember, like, oh, no.
Yeah.
We're not spinning our wheels here.
Yes. That's awesome advice. And speaking of advice, what advice would you give our future generations?
I think that the most important thing that young people, in general, can carry with themselves is give yourself permission to try a bunch of different things and suck at as many of them as you can. Like, you don't have to be perfect. I think that there has always been kind of a feeling of, you know, if you're going to do it, you've got to do it perfectly. If you're going to say, you know, put effort into something, that you have to be perfect straight out the gate. And if you're not, which no one ever is, really, you know, no one's perfect at whatever they're doing straight out the gate, give yourself permission to try it and fail it, and even decide that it's not for you. You know, you're not going to know what's important to you unless you try a lot of different things. And if you don't try a lot of different things, whatever you feel like is important to you may not stand up to that kind of scrutiny down the road. You have a finite amount of time in life, right? That's like the one universal truth.
Yes.
Nobody gets out of this alive. So
yes.
You really should think about it in those ways. Like, don't leave any stone unturned. Give it a shot. You know, if it sucks, if you don't like it, if you end up deciding this isn't actually me, then you know that about yourself. And that has value too, even if it isn't something that you carry with you for the rest of your life.
And I know that you are a piercer.
Yes.
And she pierces, of course. I'm going to put a link down below. Fox and Crow body modification.
Fox and Crow body modification.
Yeah, I was going to mess it up. I have to think. I have to back up and think about it.
We've been open for 4 years this August, so that's very cool for us. It was wild opening up a business in the middle of a pandemic. That was a crazy time, but I'm so glad that we did. It's been amazing. Owning a business is crazy. Owning a business, being a mom, all of the things that life entails, like that is crazy, but I love it. I love it so much, and I work with amazing people. I'm very proud of every single person that I work with. My husband, Scotty, Jared Scott, who's been a friend of mine every bit as long as you have. We all met in the same place.
Yes.
Laura and Spooky, all amazing people. I love them so much, genuinely.
And you know, I'm so proud of you. I want to tell you, I just love you to death, and I'm so proud of you. I've seen you grow. I just feel like I just want to hug and squeeze you all the time. But anyway, back to our teabag messages.
Yes.
I digress. Back to my teabag message. My message for today is, I can't read it, of course. I'm going to look at it. The essence of life is to, what in the heck? Can you see that one for me?
The essence of life is to communicate love.
Yes, and I'm communicating love right now.
You do that so perfectly. It's one of my favorite things about you. It has always been one of my favorite things about you, is you are just a genuinely positive person. I think that your channel, the thing that you're doing with these interviews is really cool. I love that you are putting a spotlight on other people in the community, and I think that it's amazing that you put so much effort into being positive for other people.
See how sweet she is. Even though I can't see, I know I love you. Okay, and your message.
All right, mine is, forgiveness is an act of consciousness.
Yes, and forgiving of yourself.
That is exactly right. I feel like that plays in really well to what I was saying earlier. That's
yes,
fun.
it does.
That's what my teabag says, because I do think that so much of that, like, personal growth, holding yourself accountable, you also have to have forgiveness in there, because if you're holding yourself accountable without giving yourself any forgiveness, then you're just bullying yourself, and that's not cool. So
That's really not cool.
No, it's not cool. You gotta be your own fan.
Yes, yes. Hey, I want to thank you, sweetheart. And I want to thank you for joining me for yet another Tea Time with Denise. I'll be back here next week with hopefully an amazing guest. And remember, at Pink Elephant Celebrations, Pink Elephant Boutique, and Pink Elephant Meditation Studios, we believe in the power of positive energy.